Badge. The security guard did not look up when he said it. Armin reached for his work badge. His fingers felt stiff. The lobby lights were too bright today. The marble floor smelled like strong cleaner. Behind him, two coworkers whispered. Why is he even here this early? Probably hiding from real work. Armin clipped the badge to his shirt. The scanner beeped red. The guard finally looked up. His eyes moved slow. Judging. Measuring. Try again, the guard said. Armin did. Red again. A supervisor walked over. White shirt. Tight smile. Problem. Guard shrugged. System says inactive. The supervisor looked at Armin like he was dirt on his shoe. You from night cleaning staff? No, Armin said quietly. Data compliance. The supervisor snorted. Sure. Two police officers stepped through the front doors. Morning patrol. Coffee in hand. Watching. One officer spoke low and sharp. You belong here, or do we need to check? The lobby went silent. Armin felt every eye on his back. He reached slowly into his pocket. Not for a wallet. For his phone. The officer stepped closer. Hand near his belt. Voice colder now. Careful. Make the next move wrong. And this gets very bad. Armin unlocked his phone. Opened an email. Subject line. Board arrival confirmed, ETA 9 a.m. He looked up. And for the first time, he did not look small. The elevator doors opened behind him. And someone very important stepped out. The scanner beeped red. Armin blinked once. Tried again. Red. Behind him, footsteps slowed. System broken again, someone said. No, another voice said. System just picky. Soft laughter. Armin stepped back. Let another employee scan. Green light. The security guard leaned forward. Name. Armin Hale. The guard typed slow. Too slow. Department. Data compliance. The guard's eyebrow lifted. Never seen you. I work upstairs. Uh-huh. Two coworkers walked past. Cameron smirked. Yo, Armin. Lose your clearance already. Armin forced a small smile. Looks like system issue. Cameron laughed. Or budget cuts. They walked inside. Did not hold the door. The guard tapped the desk. You got ID besides that badge? Yes. Show it. Armin reached into his wallet. Hand steady. Inside, his chest felt tight. The guard studied the card too long. You knew. No. You look new. A supervisor approached. What's going on? Guard pointed. Badge inactive. Supervisor looked Armin up and down. Slow. Dismissive. What team are you? Compliance. Supervisor sighed. We really hiring anybody now? The words sat heavy. Armin swallowed. I've been here 2 years. Supervisor shrugged. Sure. The front doors opened. Cold morning air rushed in. Two police officers stepped inside. One tall. One shorter. Both alert. The tall one nodded at security. Morning. Then he saw Armin. His eyes narrowed slightly. What's the hold up? Security said. Badge problem. The officer stepped closer to Armin. Too close. You work here? Yes. You sure? Yes. The officer tilted his head. Because people get nervous when they don't belong. Armin felt heat crawl up his neck. But his voice stayed soft. I belong. The officer's jaw flexed. Then why you shaking? Armin looked down. His hand. Very slight tremor. I'm not, he said. The officer leaned closer. You reaching for something earlier. My phone. Why? To call IT. The officer's hand rested near his belt. Next time, say that first. Silence pressed around them. People entering the building slowed. Watching. Listening. Armin's stomach twisted. But inside his mind, he counted. Breaths. Steps. Exits. The supervisor cleared his throat. Maybe just escort him out until we verify. The words hit harder than shouting. Escort him out. Like he was danger. Armin nodded once. Okay. The officer gestured. Let's step outside. They walked toward the glass doors. Armin could feel eyes on his back. Feel whispers forming. Outside, wind cut through his shirt. The officer spoke lower now. You ever been stopped before? Yes. For what? Existing. Armin said before he could stop himself. The officer stared. Long. Then smirked slightly. You funny. Armin said nothing. His phone buzzed in his pocket. The officer noticed. You expecting something important? Yes. What? Armin pulled out the phone slowly. Opened email. Showed nothing yet. The officer watched his hands carefully. Inside the building. Security's phone rang. The guard answered. Yeah, he's here. Yeah, we got him outside. Pause. Then the guard's face changed. Color drained. Yes, sir. Right away. The guard rushed outside. Sir, mister. He stopped, unsure which title to use. The officer frowned. What? Security swallowed. Lobby needs to be cleared. Why? Security looked at Armin, then back at the officer. Because board-level arrival just updated. The officer glanced at Armin again. Something changed in his eyes. Not respect. Not yet. But uncertainty. Armin slipped the phone back into his pocket. The elevator doors inside opened, and the entire executive team stepped out, looking straight toward the entrance. And toward him. The office felt louder than normal. Chairs rolled. Keyboards clicked. Phones rang. But when Armin walked in, a few voices dropped. Not silent. Just lower. Cameron leaned back in his chair. Yo. Badge working again. Yes, Armin said. Lucky day, Cameron replied. Someone behind him added. Or system glitch fixed itself. Soft laughter. Armin sat at his desk by the window. Opened his computer. Logged in. Hands steady now. Inside, his chest still felt tight. Across the aisle, Sanaa watched him for a second. Then looked away when Cameron noticed. Manager Collins walked over. Armin. Quick word. Yes, sir. Collins smiled. Tight. Polite. Fake. We need stronger presence from you. I complete my reports on time. Yes, yes, Collins said quickly. But culture matters too. Armin nodded slowly. What does that mean? Collins lowered his voice. Clients expect confidence. I am confident. Collins paused. Not like that. Silence stretched. I'll work on visibility, Armin said. Good, Collins replied, already turning away. Cameron rolled his chair closer. Bro, he basically said you invisible. Armin kept typing. I heard. You gotta speak up more. Or people think you know. What? Cameron shrugged. Not leadership material. Armin stopped typing. Looked at the screen. Cells blurred slightly. I'm not applying for leadership, he said quietly. Cameron laughed. Yeah, that tracks. Armin's phone buzzed under the desk. Private email. Different account. Subject. Board security cleared. Arrival window narrowed. Another email came. Do not engage publicly until signal. He locked the screen. Sanaa walked over slowly. Hey, she said quietly. Yes. You okay? This morning looked intense. I'm fine. She hesitated. Security was out of line. Before Armin could answer, Cameron called out, Sanaa, you joining real work or babysitting? She stiffened. I'm reviewing audit notes, she said. Cameron smirked. Sure. She walked away. Armin watched her go, then returned to his spreadsheet. Numbers felt safe. Predictable. Fair. At 11:10 a.m., HR email popped up. Subject, reminder, respectful workplace initiative. Cameron read it out loud. Respectful workplace, he mocked. They send these every time someone cries. Someone else said, or every time Twitter gets mad. Laughter again. Armin kept working, but his jaw tightened. Collins clapped his hands suddenly. Listen up. Parent company inspection confirmed today. Room buzz exploded. Today. No warning. Who messed up? Collins raised his voice. Calm down. This is routine. No one believed him. Cameron whispered. Routine means someone's about to get fired. Armin checked his private email again. New message. You will likely be required in executive space. Stay flexible. He closed it fast. Cameron noticed. You hiding side hustle emails now? Personal message, Armin said. Cameron leaned closer. You always secretive. Armin said nothing. Inside, his heart started beating faster. Not fear. Preparation. Lunch orders started. People grouped naturally. Not inviting him. Not pushing him away. Just forgetting him. Collins walked by again. Armin, you'll stay available this afternoon. 4. Support tasks. Notes. Tech setup. Whatever leadership needs. I understand. Collins nodded. Good attitude. As he walked away, Cameron muttered. Support tasks. Translation. Don't talk unless spoken to. Armin swallowed. Yes, he said softly. At 1:05 p.m., security presence doubled near elevators. Two unfamiliar men in suits walked through the floor, eyes scanning everything. Cameron whispered, "Corporate sharks." Sanaa leaned toward Armin slightly. "This is bigger than normal, right?" "Yes," Armin said. Her eyes searched his face, like she wanted to ask more, but didn't. Armin's phone buzzed again. "Executive floor ready. Stand by for direct contact." His throat felt dry. Cameron tossed a paper ball that hit Armin's monitor. "Hey, if you mess up in front of corporate, don't mention our team." Light laughter around them. Armin looked at him calmly. "I won't." At 1:42 p.m., Collins rushed back onto the floor. Face pale. "Armin." "Yes, sir." "Change of plan." The room went quiet. Collins swallowed. "You need to come upstairs." "For support." Collins hesitated, then said quietly, "They asked for you by name." The office fell silent. Cameron blinked. "Why?" Collins didn't answer him. He only looked at Armin. "They said you must personally brief the visiting executives." And every eye in the room turned toward him. The cafeteria smelled like fried oil and strong coffee. Armin stood in line, tray in hand. Voices filled the space. Loud, easy, comfortable, until he stepped closer to the counter. Then the volume dipped. Not silence, just enough to notice. "Chicken or veggie?" the server asked. "Veggie," Armin said. Behind him someone whispered, "Of course." A small laugh followed. Armin didn't turn around. He paid, took his tray, walked toward the tables. Groups had already formed. Finance, marketing, sales. Cameron waved him over. Not friendly, performative. "Yo, compliance king," Cameron said. "Sit." Armin sat. The table went quiet for half a second. Then conversation restarted. Louder than before. Forced normal. Cameron leaned back. "So, Armin. Real question." Armin opened his water bottle. "Okay. What do you actually do all day?" Laughter flickered around the table. "Compliance audits," Armin said. Cameron nodded slowly. "So, you check other people's mistakes?" "Yes." "That must feel powerful," Cameron said. His tone said the opposite. Someone across the table said, "Or safe." Another added, "Yeah. Safe job. No real pressure." Armin chewed slowly. Swallowed. "Every job has pressure," he said. Cameron smirked. "Not like sales." "Or leadership," someone else said. The words landed heavy. Sanaa sat 2 seats away. Quiet. Watching. Not speaking. Armin noticed. That almost hurt more. Cameron tapped the table. "You ever think about moving up?" "I focus on my work." Cameron leaned closer. "That's not what I asked." Armin met his eyes. "I go where I'm needed." Cameron snorted. Corporate answer. Someone laughed too loud. A new voice joined from behind. "Hey, is this seat taken?" It was Derek from operations. He sat without waiting. Looked at Armin. Then looked at Cameron. Then said, "You guys hear the one about the guy who got promoted just to fill diversity numbers?" Silence. Not shocked. Not offended. Just waiting to see if it was safe to laugh. Derek shrugged. "Relax. It's industry reality." Cameron smirked. Sanaa looked down at her food. Armin felt heat spread across his chest. But his face stayed calm. "What happened to him?" Armin asked. Derek grinned. "Couldn't keep up. Got replaced. Fast." Someone laughed quietly. Armin nodded once. "Sounds like poor management," he said. The table shifted. Cameron raised his eyebrows. "You saying something?" "I'm saying systems fail people." Derek leaned forward. "Or people fail systems." The air tightened. Sanaa finally spoke. Soft. "Maybe both can be true." Derek shrugged. "Sure. In theory." Cameron tapped his fork. "In reality, some people just aren't built for pressure." He looked straight at Armin when he said it. Armin set his fork down. Carefully. His voice stayed even. "Pressure reveals structure." Cameron frowned. "What does that even mean?" "It shows what holds. And what breaks." Silence again. Longer this time. Across the cafeteria, 2 men in suits walked through. Scanning faces. Scanning tables. One paused slightly when he saw Armin. Then kept walking. Cameron noticed. "Yo. Corporate security checking lunch tables now." Derek laughed. "Someone's getting fired for sure." Armin's phone buzzed. Private email. He didn't check it. "Not yet." Cameron pointed at his pocket. "Girlfriend?" "No." Family? No. Cameron leaned back. You mysterious man. Nobody knows where you from. What you did before here. Nothing. Armin picked up his water. Took one sip. Maybe that's okay, he said. Derek chuckled. Or maybe HR just needed a picture for brochures. This time, even Cameron hesitated. Not because it was wrong. Because it was too direct. Sanaa's fork stopped midair. Armin felt something twist deep in his stomach. Not surprise. Not new pain. Old pain. Familiar. Heavy. He stood. Slow. Calm. I have work to finish. Cameron shrugged. Yeah. Compliance never sleeps. Armin nodded once. Then walked away. Halfway to the door. His phone buzzed again. He checked it this time. Subject. Ownership review notice. Immediate distribution. His pulse jumped. Another message followed. Company-wide email deploying in 60 seconds. Armin stopped walking. Turned slightly. Looked back at the table. Cameron laughing. Derek talking. Sanaa quiet. Uncomfortable. Then, every phone in the cafeteria buzzed at once. Conversation stopped. People opened emails. Mouths moved silently reading. Cameron frowned. Read again. Then looked up. Directly at Armin. Face pale. Across the cafeteria screens, the same message displayed. Parent company ownership review. Effective immediately. All departments subject to leadership audit today. Armin slid his phone back into his pocket. And walked out. Without looking back. The office did not sound normal anymore. Voices dropped when managers walked by. Emails came faster. Too many urgent tags. Armin sat at his desk, watching the floor shift around him like weather before a storm. Across the room, Cameron leaned into Derek. Ownership review means cuts, Cameron whispered. Or lawsuits, Derek said. Or both. They laughed. But it sounded forced. Collins walked out of his office. Tie loosened. Face tight. Team meeting. Now. Chairs rolled fast. People gathered around the central screen. Armin stood near the back. Listening. Watching. Collins cleared his throat. Parent company is conducting a full operational review. No one spoke. They will be examining performance metrics, hiring trends, compliance, culture indicators. Culture indicators. The words hung heavy. Cameron shifted slightly. Derek crossed his arms. A hand raised. Are layoffs coming? Collins forced a smile. No decisions have been made. Which meant yes. Another voice. Why no notice? Collins said, Senior leadership makes timing decisions. He avoided eye contact with Armin. Armin's phone buzzed. Private email. Stay observational. Do not intervene yet. His stomach tightened. Meeting ended quickly. No one went back to normal. Clusters formed. Whispers spread. Fear moved faster than facts. Sanaa walked beside Armin toward the printers. This feels bad, she said quietly. Yes. Do you think they're targeting certain teams? Armin paused. Reviews often start where leadership feels safest applying pressure. She frowned. That sounds like experience talking. It is. She studied him for a second, like she wanted to ask more. But didn't. Near the elevators, 2 new security guards stood watch. Not normal. Cameron noticed too. Why security on our floor now? Derek said. Maybe someone already messed up. At 11:40 a.m., the elevator doors opened again. And the police officer from the lobby stepped out. The tall one. Same sharp eyes. Same slow walk. Conversations died mid-sentence. He walked straight toward Collins. Routine safety check, he said. No one believed that. Collins nodded too fast. Of course. Of course. The officer's eyes scanned the floor. Stopped on Armin. Stayed there. Too long. Then he walked closer. Stopped beside Armin's desk. You again, the officer said. Yes. You work upstairs? Sometimes. The officer studied him. You had clearance issues this morning. Yes. Funny how those got fixed fast. Armin held his gaze. Yes. Silence stretched. The officer leaned slightly closer. Voice lower. I ran your name earlier. Armin's pulse thudded once. But the system access locked me out, the officer said. Armin said nothing. The officer's eyes narrowed. Why would that happen? Armin answered carefully. I don't control police databases. The officer smirked slightly. Everyone controls something. Cameron watched from across the room. Confused. Nervous. Interested. The officer stepped back, but didn't leave. Instead, he leaned against a nearby desk, watching, waiting, like he was trying to solve a puzzle. Armin's phone buzzed again. Executive floor, arrival window 30 minutes. Another message. Prepare for direct visibility. His chest felt tight again. Not fear. Wait. Responsibility. Collins rushed across the floor suddenly. Everyone stay available, he said. No early lunches. No leaving building. Cameron whispered. Yeah. Someone's definitely getting fired. The officer pushed off the desk, walked toward the elevators again, then stopped, turned back toward Armin. You ever notice, he said slowly, how people act different when they think they're in control? Armin met his eyes. Yes. The officer nodded once. Let's see how today goes. Then he stepped into the elevator. Doors closed. The entire floor exhaled at once. But tension didn't leave. It just shifted shape. At 12:25 p.m., every computer screen flashed a new notification. Executive arrival, 20 minutes. People stood, straightened clothes, cleaned desks. Fear mixed with performance. Armin stood slowly, adjusted his sleeves, checked his reflection in the dark monitor screen. For a second, he looked tired, then calm again, controlled, ready. Across the room, Cameron walked over. Yo, he said, voice lower now. You know anything about what's coming? Armin looked at him. Long, measured, then said softly. Yes. Cameron blinked. Like what? Armin picked up his notebook. I know today changes things. At that exact moment, Collins ran back onto the floor. Face pale, voice shaking. They're here. And behind him, the elevator doors opened. The elevator doors opened slowly. Too slowly. Like the moment wanted everyone to feel it. 5 executives stepped out. Dark suits. Calm faces. Quiet authority. No smiles. No small talk. Just purpose. The entire floor stood. Chairs pushed back. Conversations died. Collins rushed forward. Welcome, we're honored. The lead executive raised a hand. Not rude. Just enough to stop him. Where is the conference room? This way, Collins said quickly. They walked past rows of employees. Eyes forward. Until one executive slowed. Just slightly. Near Armin's desk. Then kept walking. Cameron whispered. Why did he look at you like that? Armin picked up his notebook. They're observing everyone. Cameron nodded, but he didn't look convinced. Armin, Collins said sharply. You. With me. Several heads turned. Derek muttered. Compliance gets front row seats now? Cameron whispered. Don't say anything weird. Armin stood. Smoothed his shirt once. Then followed Collins. The conference room smelled like fresh polish and stress. Water glasses lined perfectly. Screens already on. Executives took seats. Collins stood near the head like he belonged there. He didn't. Everyone could feel it. Begin, the lead executive said. Collins launched into slides. Quarter performance strong. Hiring stable. Culture initiatives active. Armin sat near the wall. Taking notes. Silent. Listening. Watching. Halfway through, a second executive spoke. Employee retention in compliance division dropped last quarter. Collins blinked. Temporary fluctuation. Exit interviews mention exclusion, the executive said. Collins shifted. Unverified emotional feedback. Armin's pen paused. The door opened slightly. Sanaa stepped in quietly, laptop in hand. She sat beside Armin. Whispered. They asked for audit data. I expected that, Armin said softly. She glanced at him, like she wanted to ask why, but didn't. Cameron appeared at the glass wall outside, watching, trying to read the room. The lead executive turned. Who oversees compliance audits directly? Collins spoke too fast. I do. Silence. Then, another executive said, Our records show direct review authority assigned to Armin Hale. The room shifted. Collins laughed lightly. Support role. Mostly documentation. The executive looked at Armin. Directly. Is that correct? Every eye in the room turned. Armin felt heat climb up his neck. Felt his pulse in his ears. But his voice stayed steady. I support where needed. The executive held his gaze. Long. Then nodded slowly. Collins rushed forward again. Moving on. The lead executive spoke sharply. No. We are not moving on. Silence dropped like weight. Mr. Hale, the executive said calmly, please walk us through last quarter's compliance flags. Collins froze. Sanaa's fingers stopped typing. Armin stood slowly, walked to the screen, plugged in his tablet. Graphs appeared instantly. Clear, clean, detailed. Flag Category 1, Armin said. His voice was quiet, but it filled the room. Retention bias patterns in mid-management promotions. Slide changed. Flag Category 2. HR complaint response delays correlated with department demographics. Another slide. Flag Category 3. Security escalation rates uneven across employee groups. No one moved. Outside the glass, Cameron stared, confused, nervous. Collins cleared his throat. These are internal working theories. Armin didn't turn around. They are confirmed statistical patterns. The lead executive leaned back slightly. Interested. Why were these not escalated to corporate earlier? The executive asked. Collins spoke quickly. Still verifying. Armin turned. Finally looked at Collins. Verification completed 3 weeks ago. The room went still. Collins' face lost color. That report was under internal review. It was submitted, Armin said. Soft. Certain. One executive checked a tablet, then nodded slowly. Yes, he said. It was. Silence stretched. Heavy. Unavoidable. The lead executive folded his hands. Then said, where is Armin Hale supposed to be seated during executive reviews? Collins blinked. Support seating. The executive shook his head slightly. No. He gestured toward the head chair beside him. He should be sitting here. No one breathed. Not Sanaa. Not Collins. Not Armin. Armin walked slowly. Sat down beside the executive. Across the glass wall. Cameron stepped back like he touched fire. Collins whispered. I wasn't informed. The executive said quietly. You were informed. Armin's phone buzzed once. Private message. Proceed to phase 2. His stomach tightened. Not fear. Finality. The lead executive turned to the room. Before we continue, he said calmly, we need to correct several misunderstandings about reporting structure. Collins gripped the table. Hard. The executive looked at Armin. Then said, Mr. Hale, would you like to explain? And the entire room waited for him to speak. The room felt smaller, like the walls leaned closer to listen. Armin's hands rested flat on the table. Warm glass under his palms. Across from him, Collins looked like he might be sick. The lead executive nodded once. Go ahead, Mr. Hale. Armin stood slowly. No rush. No drama. Just control. He walked to the screen. Did not open slides. Did not open reports. Instead, he turned to face them. My name is Armin Hale, he said quietly. Everyone already knew that. But no one moved. I joined this company 2 years ago under standard employee onboarding. Collins swallowed. Hard. I was not placed here randomly. A few executives exchanged small glances. They already knew. The room did not. My family owns Hale Holdings. The words landed softly, but they shattered the room. Sanaa's breath caught. Collins blinked rapidly. Outside the glass wall, Cameron leaned forward. Like he misheard. Hale Holdings, Armin continued, is the controlling parent trust of this company. No one spoke. No one even shifted. Collins whispered, That's not. Then stopped. Because he knew. Because he remembered the ownership structure chart. Because he had never expected to meet it in person. Armin's voice stayed steady. My parents built the trust. I expanded it. He let the words settle. Not to intimidate. To clarify. The lead executive spoke gently. Mr. Hale requested to work inside one of our largest operational branches. Armin nodded once. To observe real culture, he said. To see what reports cannot show. Silence thickened. Collins' voice cracked. You were undercover? No, Armin said. I was present. Outside the glass. Cameron's face had gone pale. Derek stepped back slowly. Like distance could undo words. Armin continued. I asked corporate not to announce my position. Why? Sanaa asked quietly, before she could stop herself. The room turned toward her. Armin answered anyway. Because systems behave differently when power is visible. The lead executive folded his hands. Mr. Hale submitted 3 internal culture risk alerts. Collins closed his eyes briefly. Each was ignored, Armin said. Not angry. Not loud. Just true. Collins shook his head fast. We needed more time. You had 3 weeks, Armin said. Another executive spoke. We verified suppression patterns in escalation routing. The words felt clinical, but the damage behind them was not. Collins' voice dropped. I was protecting the department. Armin looked at him. Long. You were protecting comfort. No one argued. Armin stepped back from the screen. Looked around the room. Not at titles. At people. I heard jokes about hiring quotas, he said. I saw complaints buried under process language. I watched security and police escalation patterns. His jaw tightened slightly. The lobby was not an isolated event. Sanaa's eyes filled slightly. Cameron disappeared from the glass wall. The lead executive spoke again. Mr. Hale now holds direct operational override authority. Collins sat down hard, like his legs stopped working. Armin exhaled slowly, then said the words he had been carrying for 2 years. We are opening a full internal investigation. The air shifted. Permanent. What does that mean? Collins asked. His voice sounded smaller now. It means every complaint will be reviewed externally, Armin said. It means security and law enforcement interactions tied to staff will be audited. It means promotion data will be reevaluated. One executive added quietly, and leadership accountability will be enforced. Collins covered his mouth, thinking, calculating, realizing. Sanaa looked at Armin. Not scared, not shocked anymore, just understanding. Armin sat down again. His phone buzzed. Another private message. He read it. His stomach dropped. Just slightly. The lead executive noticed. Is there an issue? Armin hesitated. For the first time. Then he said, the police officer from this morning. The room stiffened. He has multiple prior complaints tied to escalation bias. The executive's face hardened. Armin swallowed. There's more. He turned the phone screen toward them. A new report had just arrived. Body cam review request. Internal affairs notice. And a formal inquiry request naming this building. Silence. Heavy. Dangerous. The lead executive spoke slowly. When did this come in? 30 seconds ago, Armin said. Outside the conference room. Through the glass. The elevator doors opened again, and 2 uniformed officers stepped out. One of them was the same officer from the lobby, and this time, he was walking straight toward the conference room. The conference room door opened. Slow. Controlled. The police officer stepped inside. Same uniform. Same sharp eyes. But something was different now. Less certainty. More tension. He stopped just inside the doorway. Looked at the executives. Then at Armin. Recognition hit his face in real time. You, he said quietly. The lead executive spoke first. Officer, can we help you? The officer straightened. I'm here for a routine follow-up regarding a security incident this morning. No one spoke. The room felt colder. Armin stood. Not aggressive. Not defensive. Just present. Yes, Armin said. There was an incident. The officer nodded once. I need to confirm statements. One executive slid a tablet across the table. Internal affairs already contacted us. The officer froze. Just slightly. But enough. We received notice of an inquiry, the executive continued. Body cam review requested. Dispatch log requested. On-site witness verification requested. The officer's jaw tightened. That's standard. No, the executive said calmly. It is not standard this fast. Silence. Armin stepped closer to the table. 3 prior complaints, he said quietly. The officer looked at him sharply. You don't know the context. I know the patterns, Armin replied. The officer exhaled through his nose. Like he was trying to stay calm. This is getting blown out of proportion. Sanaa spoke from the side of the room. Soft. But steady. I saw the lobby interaction. The officer turned toward her. And you escalated before verifying identity, she said. The officer shook his head. I followed procedure. Armin asked quietly. Which procedure requires intimidation during an access check? The officer's eyes hardened. You think you understand field decisions? Armin met his gaze. I understand accountability. Outside the glass walls. Employees were gathering. Word had spread. Fast. Cameron stood in the hallway. Face pale. Watching everything unravel. Inside the room. Another executive spoke. We have already requested full incident review from city oversight. The officer shifted his weight. First sign of real discomfort. Armin's phone buzzed. New message. Journalist inquiry confirmed. Story draft in progress. His chest tightened. Not surprise. Inevitable gravity. The officer noticed his expression change. What now? The officer said. Armin looked up. There is media interest in workplace discrimination patterns tied to security escalation. The officer laughed once. Short. Harsh. You think media decides reality? No, Armin said. Evidence does. The lead executive turned to legal counsel on screen. Status. The lawyer's voice came through the speaker. We have secured internal witness recordings. Collins looked up suddenly. What recordings? No one answered him. Sanaa's eyes flickered toward Armin. Then away. The lawyer continued. Multiple employees documented biased language patterns over 6 months. Cameron, outside the glass, looked like he might be sick. The officer stepped back slightly. People say things out of context all the time. The executive replied calmly. Patterns remove context. Armin exhaled slowly, then spoke the words carefully. This is no longer a single incident review. The officer looked at him. Really looked at him. Like he was finally understanding who he was standing in front of. What are you saying? The officer asked. Armin answered. I am saying the system is now looking at you. Silence. Heavy. Unavoidable. The officer's radio crackled softly. He didn't answer it. Another buzz from Armin's phone. He checked it. His pulse dropped into his stomach. The lead executive noticed. What is it? Armin swallowed once. Then said. Internal Affairs has placed him on preliminary duty restriction. The officer's face went blank. Not angry. Not defensive. Just stunned. Outside. Employees whispered. Phones out. Rumors spreading like fire. The executive spoke carefully. Officer, you are free to leave for now. Not dismissal. Not arrest. But not normal. The officer nodded slowly. Turned. Walked out. The moment the door closed. The room exhaled. But Armin didn't. His phone buzzed again. New message. From corporate legal. Civil complaint filing window opened. Multiple plaintiffs. Sanaa whispered. Multiple? Armin nodded once. Yes. The lead executive leaned forward. Mr. Hale, this is going to expand beyond this building. Yes, Armin said quietly. I know. Outside the conference room. News vans were already pulling into the parking lot. And Armin realized. This was no longer just an investigation. It was about to become public. By morning, the building felt different. Quieter. Heavier. Like everyone was waiting for something to break. Armin stepped out of the elevator onto the main floor. Conversations dropped instantly. Not mocking. Not dismissive. Just careful. Cameron stood near the break room. Eyes tired. He didn't wave this time. He nodded. Small. Respectful. Guilty. Company-wide email hit at 9:02 a.m. Leadership review outcomes, effective immediately. People opened it at the same time. Gasps moved across the floor. Collins, administrative leave pending investigation. 2 HR directors, resigned. Security contract, under external review. No cheering. No celebration. Just shock. Sanaa walked up beside Armin. Did you sleep? She asked quietly. Not much. Me neither. They stood there for a second. Just breathing. People are scared, she said. Yes. Are you? Armin thought about it. Yes. Honesty felt easier now. His phone buzzed. Legal update. Civil filings confirmed. 6 named plaintiffs. His chest tightened. 6 stories. 6 lives. 6 different versions of the same system failure. Across the floor, Derek packed a cardboard box. Slow. Careful. Like sudden movements might make everything worse. He avoided eye contact with everyone. Cameron walked toward Armin. Stopped 2 steps away. I didn't know, he said. Armin nodded once. I know. Cameron swallowed. I said things. Yes. I was trying to fit in. I know. Cameron looked down. I'm sorry. Armin studied him. Long. Then nodded once. Learn from it. Cameron nodded fast. Relief mixed with shame. At 10:30 a.m., another email hit. Police Department statement, officer under internal review. People read it silently. Sanaa exhaled slowly. That's fast. Public pressure changes speed, Armin said. His phone buzzed again. Board message. Emergency session, 2 p.m. His stomach tightened. He already knew what they would ask. Lunch felt quieter. People sat with their own teams. No loud jokes. No performative confidence. Just caution. Armin sat alone near the window. Not excluded. Not isolated. Just needing space. Sanaa sat across from him anyway. I know you want quiet, she said. But you shouldn't be alone in this. Armin looked at her. Tired. Grateful. At 2 p.m., the board meeting started. Faces on screens. Serious. Measured. The lead board member spoke first. Mr. Hale, public exposure risk is rising. Yes, Armin said. Civil filings will accelerate media attention. Yes. The branch reputation may not recover quickly. I understand. Silence. Then. We need to ask a hard question. Armin felt it coming. Still hurt anyway. Do you want to shut this branch down? The words landed like weight. Permanent. Armin thought about the lobby. The cafeteria. The quiet desks. The jokes. The fear. The silence. He thought about the 6 plaintiffs. And how many never filed. He closed his eyes for 1 second. Open them again. Closing it protects reputation, the board member said. Yes, Armin said. But it also removes jobs, another added. Yes. And removes opportunity for change, a third said. Armin exhaled slowly. The room waited. The board waited. History felt like it was standing right behind him. I need 24 hours, he said quietly. The board nodded. When the call ended, Armin stayed sitting, staring at the blank screen. Sanaa knocked gently on the conference door. You okay? No, he said honestly. She stepped inside anyway. Sat across from him. Didn't speak. Didn't push. Just stayed. Armin's phone buzzed again. New message. From corporate communications. Major media network requesting formal interview. He stared at the message. Then locked the phone. This isn't over, Sanaa said softly. No, Armin said. It's just becoming visible. Outside the conference room, employees waited, not sure what future looked like. And Armin realized. The next decision he made would decide all of theirs too. 6 months had passed. The office smelled like fresh paint and new coffee. But more than that, it smelled like change. Armin walked through the floor. Smiles weren't forced anymore. Conversations weren't tense. People didn't whisper when he passed. They still paused. But respect replaced fear. Collins returned. Different title. Different attitude. Still defensive. But learning. Cameron approached Armin quietly. Things are different, he said. Yes, Armin replied. Thank you for showing us. Armin nodded once. No pride. Just acknowledgement. Sanaa joined him at the cafeteria. Feels lighter, she said. Yes, Armin said. But light doesn't erase history. Corporate policies were rewritten. Promotion processes transparent. Bias complaints tracked. Internal oversight strengthened. Security underwent retraining. HR accountability was real. Armin checked private messages. All internal reports up to date. Public stories published. Corporate media emphasized cultural change, not blame. Journalists came occasionally. Not to expose, but to document. Armin watched employees. Not just colleagues. Humans. He paused by the lobby. No police officer standing idly. No snickers. No judgment. Just people entering. He remembered the day he arrived. Badge red, hands trembling. The whispers. The subtle smirks. Now people nodded when he passed. Not because he owned the parent company. Because they knew accountability existed. Collins approached again. Your initiative changed everything. Yes, Armin said. Not everyone agrees, Collins added. No, Armin admitted. But change isn't universal. Cameron laughed quietly. Some of us still need reminders. True, Armin said. But everyone knows the standard now. Armin stepped into the boardroom. Sanaa beside him. Executives on video call. They spoke about new standards, inclusivity, leadership transparency. He thought about the cafeteria. The lobby. The quiet desks. The fear. The exposure. He remembered the officer. The jokes. The silence. He looked out the window. Sunlight hitting the building. Warm. We did what we could, he said quietly. Sanaa smiled. Yes, she said. And you made it visible. Armin exhaled. Not relief. Not victory. Bittersweet. The scars remained, but the floor felt alive. People moved with purpose. Not hiding. Not fearing. Armin knew change was continuous. But the foundation was laid. The standard was set. He picked up his phone. Checked messages. No emergencies. Just updates. Just progress. He smiled slightly. Quietly. The camera would never capture this moment. No dramatic reveal. No cliffhanger. Just human resilience. The office buzzed. Softly. Productively. And Armin knew. The work would never end. But now everyone knew the rules. The system had changed. Bittersweet, yes. But real. And as he walked past the lobby doors one last time that morning, he finally felt it. The quiet strength of justice.